In this video, I'm going to show how to set up a test to execute a stored procedure. You could do this for a couple of different reasons. You might be using it to set something up prior to executing other parts of your test, or you might be testing the stored procedure itself. To execute a stored procedure, we would typically use either the execute query if the stored procedure has no return or no values that we expect from it. We would use the execute query grid if it is returning a result set, or in this example we're going to show how to return a scalar value, the stored procedures return code. And I could put this into the test initialization steps, but in this case I actually want to test the stored procedure, so I'm going to add the execute query to my execution tracks. I'm going to pick a connection for it, and we're going to go against the higher ed database. I do expect it to return an integer, and I need to give it a query asset. This is the actual command that's going to be executed. So I'm going to add a new query here, and this automatically selected the higher ed connection for me. And I am going to paste in the query that I want to use. So here we're just declaring the return code value, executing the stored procedure, and in this case we're just getting a count of students by state, passing in a value, and then selecting the return code back as the scalar value that we're going to use. So once I've done that, I want to give my query a more meaningful name. So I call this get student count proc. And then in my execute query, I can pick the query asset that I just created. And that is set. The resource key, this is the value that it's going to store that scalar value back into. So I'm going to call this student count. And that is all I have to do to set it up to execute a stored procedure. And again, this can be done also in the test setup steps as well if you need to run the stored procedure to prepare something, or in the teardown if you need to use a stored procedure to clean values up.